All right, hello class. This video is designed to help us with the skinning procedure. As we get through this, or as we work through this, we are going to remove basically all of the skin except for the head and the tail. We're going to skin all the way down to about in a human, what would be the wrist, down to the beginning of the paw, and the same thing on the lower or hind limb here as well. So, tools that you will need or be beneficial through this part of the dissection will be scissors. Set these and use these as needed. Scalpel, but as mentioned in my previous video, make sure we don't get too scalpel happy. This is where some students get into muscles or into the abdominal cavity prematurely. So I'll give you some pointers as to how to use the scalpel when working through skinning as we go. And the other one that will be helpful will be the spear. That one is nice as you work through. It will not cut into tissues very easily or as easily as the scalpel will. So as mentioned before, we have our two parts where the skin has been removed for latex injection in the upper in the neck and then the hind limb. What we basically want to do is work our way to the midline, come up the midline, and as we go through this, we're going to then come down each limb, down the leg on each side. So some students start with a scalpel. It's very easy. Basically what you want to do is lift up on the skin. If you're using your scalpel here, it's easiest to just sort of scrape and lift up. Now as you do this, make sure that your partner is nowhere close and you are moving that scalpel away. You will notice that some cats are a little furrier than others, and that is going to, once we get the skin off, we will discard it and it will not be as bad. So we're basically going to open this up. I can zoom in just a touch here so you can see as I work through this. There are connective tissues that help hold the skin together. And again, as we go, we're just going to work our way up. And then once you get far enough along, it sometimes is easier just to sort of peel some of that tissue away. As we get into the lower abdominal area, there is a fair amount of fat or adipose tissue. Sometimes it's difficult to differentiate, especially for the beginner, what is actually fat tissue and what is actually muscular. Some of the tissues have a fair amount of blood supply to them, so they give you the same sort of color as you would with with muscles. So again, we'll just continue to work up. You could have a partner start at the top and work down, and you'll see that I'm just lifting ever so slightly. And once we get there, we'll tease some of this. As you get in there, it looks sort of cobwebby. And that you can just sort of pull away. As I mentioned, being scalpel happy is very easy to do. I can see I've already made a small incision in the abdominal cavity. Your abdominal muscles are actually very thin. There's not much to them. So as you're going through here, make sure that you are being careful. It's not uncommon. Sometimes it's easiest, remove some of that fur, it is easiest to flip the blade over and sort of tease it away in such a fashion. And that will prevent you from cutting into tissues. So I'm going to continue to work through this. Some students are apprehensive and and they're very cautious about what they're doing. Others seem to work through it a little more quickly. So once you get through here, as I mentioned, just teasing it away, lifting and teasing will get through some of that connective tissue. And it's always, as we come back, it's better to be able to come back and remove extra than to remove too much to begin with. Okay. I'm going to continue to work through this off camera so that you don't have to watch the entire thing. And then once I have the skin removed, I will come back and do a second video just to give you an idea of how I've progressed. So again, you can come up here at the top. Sometimes scissors work a little bit better as you're working through. The skin can be a little tough in certain areas. All right, and again, the spear also can be helpful as you're getting through some of these tissues. You just kind of tease it away. And personally, I find it's easier, at least around the abdominal area, to just sort of peel it back. Some don't like the sound that has, but it does go much more quickly. All right, just grabbing a hold, getting a finger or a thumb in there, and it will come away fairly easily. Your thoracic muscles, your chest muscles, it is going to get a little bit tighter here, so be careful as you're working through that area. For now, I'm going to continue my work, and I will come back once I have gotten a little more of the skin off.